So models are trending a little bit warmer on this winter storm that we are expecting in the Great Lakes region early next week, but we're also seeing that Arctic pattern still taking shape later on in the middle of January. In this video, we're going to talk about the new map for snow accumulations, what the different models are saying with regards to snow accumulations, as well as the next few winter storms that we could possibly see, and the Arctic potential for mid-January. Hello everybody, the time is 7:50 p.m. and it is January 6th. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. Now, those of you that are snow lovers that are in southern Michigan, northern Indiana, you might be a little disappointed in this forecast, I'm just going to say, but northern Michigan, you're still on tap to see some pretty decent snow from this system. I do see a few other setups for snow later on into mid-January as well, as we welcome in an Arctic pattern that is favored by most of the models at this current point. So we're going to dive into all of that in this video right now. We're going to start with this winter storm that we're going to be facing early next week, and then we'll dive into those later on forecasts as well. So let's get right to it. Here is the Weather Prediction Center's forecast for snow. Okay, so you can kind of see again, this map is a map designed for more close range events, but you have a 24-hour probability of snow accumulating greater than 1 inch for actually today, as a matter of fact. As we get into tonight, you do see that there could be a little bit of lake effect on the southwestern portion of Michigan. But what I'm going to show you is not this portion. I'm showing you the system snow that we're expecting as we go from Tuesday into Wednesday, what is being shown by the models here. So you're seeing, again, as we get into Tuesday morning, the snow potential for this particular area, okay? So right here you see that there is a nice shade of orange and red across much of Michigan and northeastern Indiana. Now here's the thing with this. I'm really thinking that the setup for snow for this area is going to be during the morning, okay, Tuesday morning, okay, because the models are trending this storm to be much farther to the north, and it's trending warmer for a lot of places in the Great Lakes region. I really think the places that are going to see more snow from this are going to be much farther to the north at this point, okay? Because as that low lifts to the north, on the eastern side of it, you're going to have that warm air, and that warm air is going to wrap around it just a little bit, enough to bring some of the warmer air farther up into the north. And on the north and west side, you still have that snow potential, but I really think the surge of warm air is really going to make its way into this region as that low pressure moves in. So again, I think this area is going to see its snow during the morning, and I really don't think it's going to exceed probably 4 or 5 inches. Maybe if we get up to 6, we'd be lucky down in this area for that morning. Okay, we'll probably shift back to snow later on Tuesday night into Wednesday, but it's not going to be too much, and I don't think it'll be as heavy. And the models will have to show for that as well. And the Weather Prediction Center sort of updated their guidance as a result of that as well. This I'm not going to talk about yet, but we're going to be getting into a pattern that is more snowy, and that's something that we're probably going to be seeing quite frequently over the next little bit. But this is another storm that we're going to be watching on tap later on for next weekend. So that's just the thing to be watching out for. We're going to talk about this first storm first and look at the 500 millibar height anomaly at first to see exactly what is going on. So here we have this trough that's dipping through the eastern United States right now. That's actually what's bringing that nor'easter type storm, not really nor'easter, but that New England storm. Its strength, this trough that's dipping through the region, okay, that's lifting off to the northeast now. This trough is the trough that's going to bring us our winter storm come Tuesday, okay? So we have this trough dipping down into the Texas region. Watch that center of low pressure, because that's a key player into who's going to see snow and who's not going to see snow. I think this storm's going to be much warmer and more messy for a lot of places, and I think most places down in Indiana and Ohio will likely see more along the lines of rain, except for Tuesday morning when that snow could initially make its impact in parts of Indiana and Ohio. So those of you that are thinking about a snow day, I would think Tuesday has a better shot for areas in the southern part of Michigan, Indiana, in northern Indiana and Ohio than Wednesday. So that trough, you notice it's going to be moving off to the east here, and then you could see off to the northwest another trough yet still developing, and it looks like it's going to surge its way followed behind this trough. You can see it's a pretty cold air mass. It's going to be another trough that brings a potential for another winter storm again around that time frame that I just showed you from the Weather Prediction Center, Saturday, January 13th at about 4 a.m. You can see that trough is pretty deep, and that is actually going to welcome some pretty cool air into the Great Lakes region, probably high temperatures in the teens for a couple days, and then getting into the low 20s after that. So where winter is still on its way, and I do think it's going to be impactful on Tuesday, but I think winter's punch is really waiting out until mid-January, which is not too uncommon. Okay, so that's pretty common for us to see it around mid-January, the cold air start to make its way in. So that's what we're watching here. I am seeing this warm up later on shown by the models here. We'll have to see how it goes down because it looks like there's just more cooler air following in behind that. So still, you can definitely see there's a pattern change in the atmosphere ongoing at this current point, but let's focus on that one winter storm that we've been talking about for the past few days. So here we have the storm that's moving through the New England states right now, moving out of the area. Okay, we won't see too much snow from that. Here's that next storm. Okay, Tuesday 1 a.m. This is about 1 a.m. And you can see that there's heavy snow falling across portions of northern Indiana. That's something that's been projected by the models for quite a while now. It's going to start off as heavy snow at the first part of this storm. Okay, 1 a.m. And it's going to make its way into parts of southern Michigan, western Ohio, northwestern Ohio as well. Still that heavy snow pattern. But by the time the sun rises, by the time we get past daybreak, you're going to see that this is going to start to really sort of fade away. And that low is going to be shifting its way up to the north. Pay attention to where this low goes because that's going to have influence. Remember, we have warm air coming up on the eastern side of it. In fact, let me draw this pattern out for you real quick. So this, oh, I did not want to do that. Well, let's fix that again. Back it up. All right, so you got to pay attention to where this low is going to go here. So you see this low pressure system, right? What you're going to have is you're going to have warm air surging on the eastern side of this, okay? With any low, you have a counterclockwise motion of air that is making its way through, and this counterclockwise motion is actually drawing from the Gulf of Mexico that high moisture content air, okay? So that humid air, and then on the back side of this, you have that cold air wrapping in from the east and then down in this direction as well, okay? That's your flow of air, okay? So if you get a strong flow of Gulf moisture going into this storm, you do notice that it's going to kind of pull it up into portions of the Great Lakes region. And that's something that's pretty common with these systems as well. And it's actually going to pull it pretty far to the north, which is going to allow for more rainfall to likely occur as we get into the midday hours of Tuesday, okay? So that's something that we're watching, okay? Something that's probably going to happen with the system as the models are pretty consistent on it at this point. You do notice by about 1 p.m., areas south of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and anywhere down south in Indiana and Ohio are probably seeing rain at this point. Maybe even seeing a few thunderstorms across southwestern Ohio. Wouldn't be surprised. You got some energy there for that. But lifting it off to the northeast, the rain line continues to make its way up to the north as that warm air continues to be pulled in by that deepening low pressure. Now on the back side of this, there will probably be a quick change over to snow, but the thing is that snow is probably going to start to dissipate as it makes its way into parts of the Great Lakes region. But look, interesting thing to note here is that most of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio is going to be seeing snow as we get into early Wednesday morning. Going to be lighter in this case, not as heavy as what we see Tuesday morning, but that system is still going to bring quite a bit of snow to a lot of the places in the Great Lakes region. Areas to the south of Grand Rapids, I'd say, will not see not nearly as much snow as was originally forecast, but it will still be a decent chunk of snow that will make the ground look a little bit white and probably make roads a little bit slick too, especially Tuesday morning. I think the Tuesday morning commute is going to be pretty messy. So let's continue forward with the Euro model. Taking a comparison here. Here's that winter storm that's going to be making its way into the Great Lakes region on Tuesday morning. Again, pretty consistent with what the GFS is showing. You do have that heavy snow that is beginning across parts of northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio, and by 7 a.m. it's in portions of Michigan as well. And then you can see that change over to rain that's about to begin and slowly sag to the north. And it looks like there's going to be even a bit of mixed precipitation as we get into the late morning hours as well across portions of northern Indiana, southern Michigan, which will make it quite slushy, quite nasty on the roadways. Not going to want to be on the roads during that particular portion of the event. And then as we get into around 1 p.m., you see that a change over to all rain is forecasted by the Euro model as well. And I want to show you what the Euro is projecting in terms of snow because the Euro tends to do a better job on this, and it usually gives the low end amount, which is usually what occurs. So you can see the snow totals from that heavy snow band that's going to be making its way through. You do have roughly, again, keep in mind this is a model output. This is not a for sure forecast yet. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind as we go through this, but we're getting some numbers, and I'm okay with showing the numbers at this point because we're closer to the event now, not too far out. We got to watch for trends in the shift of the focus of snow. So the numbers can't be taken at face value, but you can see where the focus of the snow is going to be. Okay, we do have snow accumulations focusing across northern Michigan. the Upper Peninsula, and then off to the west and southwest of that as well. Places south of Grand Rapids, looking at maybe 3 to 5 inches of snow, maybe somewhere close to 6 inches if you are in central southern Michigan, and then also places such as northern Indiana. That's again associated with that heavy snow pocket that will likely come in Tuesday morning. Okay, this is not going to be it's probably not going to be as impactful as we get into Wednesday morning. Okay, probably going to be some light snow with that. So that's just something to keep in mind. But that is currently where the focus of the snow is being laid out by the models. And if we were to compare the models here, we can compare the GDPS model. GDPS actually does focus the snow a little bit farther to the south, which I think that will probably change, but that is what the GDPS is showing. GFS still also showing the focus of the snow here, and then also that other point where that heavy snow pocket moves in Tuesday morning across northern Indiana. And then this model here, the icon shows, again, kind of a similar setup, the focus of the snow being across northern Michigan and then areas closer to the west. Okay, I am hoping that I might be able to get out and track the snow a little bit on the ground Tuesday morning. We'll have to see how time permits, and honestly, if there's a snow day, that's really the one thing that matters, if I can get out there. But there is still a focus of snow just north of Grand Rapids, and then also south of, I'd say, the I guess if you were to use M60 as a highway to mark that. So keep that in mind. I think that's pretty much what's on the table with this system. Now I want to show you what could be coming in the long range. And again, keep in mind this is long range models. It's probably going to change quite a bit. So you want to keep that in mind as we go through this. So that storm moves through as we get through the end of the day on Wednesday. Thursday, there is going to be another low that moves into the area. Probably not going to be able to draw off as much Gulf moisture, so it's not going to be too heavy of snow, but it'll still be a little bit of a snow maker, maybe 2 or 3 inches of snow. This next system is one I'm going to be watching closely. And interesting thing is that it is following a similar track as the storm that we are seeing for Tuesday on the current long-range models. Now again, long-range models are much, much different than things that are closer to the time of an actual event. So this could shift north or south depending on how the different patterns in the atmosphere evolve up until that point. But you really see right now that the Great Lakes region is kind of the focus point, and it is trending colder for the Great Lakes region than the other model was showing previously. And it is showing a deeper low according to the GFS. So that's just something to watch out for in the long range. Not going to do anything with regards to snow totals on that just yet. And that will also likely welcome in some cold air and lake effect snow with it as well. So that's in the long range. And again, that's something that's being depicted by the Weather Prediction Center and the Climate Prediction Center, also showing that heavy snow pattern. Right now, their central area is over northern Michigan. That could possibly be because that's where this other storm's setting up, and it's kind of following a similar track. We'll see if that changes. Again, this is a very much kind of a model that just kind of shows a possible regional hazard for in the next 8 to 14 days. But also, you notice here, much below normal temperatures between January 13th and January 16th. And that's probably going to impact us too. So as we get into that time frame, just keep in mind that it's probably going to start to get cold. If you have any outdoor water faucets that are running, make sure that they are off and not able to freeze, because that is probably going to be an issue as we get near the end of next week. So make sure to subscribe and stay updated. I may be out storm chasing Tuesday morning. We'll see how time permits. If not, then we will just wait until Friday. But make sure to like the video and subscribe. I continue to do these. Try to continue to keep people updated as these events occur. So just stay tuned for more. And thank you all for watching. I will see you all later.